Where does your mind wander when it's past midnight? Do you feel it with made-up stories? Or hunting in beautiful images that kindle your imagination? Or maybe it's too crowded with thoughts that make life heavier than it already is, due to questions that put more unnecessary pressure and worry on yourself. After seeing people at a juvenile age harnessing the opportunities that you have been seeking for a long time, you'd ask, will I ever reach the heights that my colleagues managed to ascend in just a few years? Where did I go wrong? What more do I need to do to be worthy of these opportunities too? What does the future hold for me? You would compare and contrast two lives like a Venn diagram by picking details that indicate the vast difference and little similarity between you and that stranger's life. The circumstances you're in don't seem to make sense when you're also giving your all, and the notion that passion and hard work will get you there becomes a lie. Many opera-esque affirmations have been told every morning and read the best self-help books to ease yourself from the pressures of having life figured out. It's not just the weight you try to dispel, but also the impact of toxic upbringing, norms and values that the important people in your life have ingrained in your mind. It ends up affecting how you perceive self-worth and success. They wanted you to be young for every milestone they expected you to achieve, which is quite unrealistic considering this known fact, that you are not in control of everything. You can only do your best. Most of us will go through a phase where the need for validation leads us to create timelines, as if life were just a huge project, where we get to control and identify what and when things should be accomplished. If things don't go according to plan, we tend to view ourselves as a defective gadget that fails to function accordingly. The wins we have, no matter the scale and the effort and sacrifice it took for us to accomplish them, get dismissed or worse, forgotten. It takes away every ounce of gratitude and joy we are supposed to have until nothing is left but either feelings of contempt or discontent, completely spoiling the beauty and boons that we have in life. Success is not supposed to be the arrival of a person at a fast pace with a specific destination in mind, which is always assumed and expected to be found and meant to be experienced at the peak of an extremely high mountain. We already know this lesson from the inside out, but instilling it is proven to be difficult. Well, let's try harder by frittering away time with recreation instead of killing time with overthinking and comparison. And let's try to diversify success stories that have been shoved to us. On rare occasions, two people winning awards genuinely moved my heart and put me in an exultant state whenever I see them appear everywhere. They've been on almost every big publication and award show. I suddenly find myself rooting for them. As an aspiring artist, I want Asian cinema to get more attention in the mainstream media. I felt everything when I watched this film about people who just can't get their shit together. There are so many movies with similar premises, but as a person with a not-so-wide catalog of films watched yet, it's quite refreshing that it's not visually conveyed through the same poignant monochrome film this time, which I also occasionally indulged in. And I miss edgy costumes and fun character introductions, cool and creative fight scenes, and then a drama that personally created a stinging sensation within me. In the world of ambiguous endings, which is good to steer discussion, sometimes we just want a happy ending, because the character went through so much, as well as the people watching it. I believe it's properly rated. I believe it deserved the hype, especially the multifaceted performances of the actors that steered my interest in their history, the events, small or big, that led to Yeoh and Quan's winning moments, beyond the spotlight and their shining mementos.
And the Oscar goes to...
And the Oscar goes to...
Quan.
Michelle Yeoh.
It was the 12th of March and Michelle Yeoh and Quan won their first Oscar for Best Lead Actress and Supporting Actor at the 95th Academy Awards. It wasn't just a celebration of representation that stood out to me. It's the beautiful words they left that also made a lasting impact on me. They surely are not the only ones who have meaningful stories to tell in the history of Oscar winners. It must be the time I spent learning the stuff they do before the audience saw them in the mainstream media. If you happen to know too, can't help but celebrate the years of faith and persistence they dedicated that brought them to that moment. Yeoh was born on August 6, 1962 in Ipoh, Malaysia to parents Janet Yeoh and Datuk Yeoh Kian Tik. As a child, her parents ingrained discipline in young Michelle Yeoh by involving her in physically rigorous activities, where she found her love for ballet. Later, she attended the Royal Academy of Dance in London, but a spinal injury crushed her dreams of becoming a professional ballerina. Then, she shifted to creative arts major with a minor in drama. Surprisingly, she didn't enjoy it much, as the act of doing monologues and declaiming lines triggered a different kind of stage fright. Funnily enough, one of Yeoh's pursuits after graduating was pageantry.
I did it to shut her off.
But with her wit, beauty, and charm, she was able to successfully represent Malaysia on the international stage. It sort of became an advantage that allowed her to be chosen for a commercial. A friend recommended her to the producers of a 1984 advert for a luxury watch alongside Jackie Chan, which became her first acting gig. The ad would then officially launch her acting career. She signed a contract with DNB and made her immediate movie acting debut in the action comedy film The Owl vs. Bumbo, and was credited under the name Michelle Khan at the beginning of her career. She was immediately met with challenges. First was learning Cantonese, as she grew up speaking Malayan English, and second, proving to the skeptics that in movies, she can also portray characters that can do the saving. Yeoh didn't stop at going for such roles. She did all of her stunts. She had never trained in any type of martial arts, but it felt familiar due to her strong background in ballet, which helped her find footing while learning the discipline. She thought it was like a choreography, a dance. At that time, it was a new thing for the film production company to give a woman an action hero role. Still, DNB took the risk. With consistent hard work and humility, Michelle successfully broke their preconceived notions with her role in Sammo Hong's Twinkle Twinkle Lucky Stars as the judo instructor and as the leading action hero Inspector Nang in Cory Yuen's CS Madam, followed by Royal Warriors where she played Michelle Yip and in Dynamite Fighters as Fok Ming Ling. After Easy Money finished filming, she thought it would be her last movie because of her new chosen priorities in life at the time. Yeoh cannot see herself juggling career, marriage, and motherhood. She believed that her marriage with Dixon Poon in 1988 is the start of another milestone in her life. But the marriage was short-lived.
We did whatever it was necessary to try, and unfortunately, physically, I was unable to. And I felt at that point, it was really my choice as well, because I knew my ex really wanted a big family. Right. On hindsight now, I think it was a smart thing for me to do, to be able to step away and not pretend that it will work out. Yeah. Yes, we did love each other, but then, it doesn't get better. Right. Because, there are expectations. So it was a tough thing.
And she had no idea what was next for her. Thanks to the journalist for making it known to Michelle Yeoh that she had an army of people anticipating her next movie. And 1 year later, the audience saw her on the silver screen again as Inspector Jessica Yang in Police Story 3 Super Cup. And it seemed like she was working non-stop, that her fans were overindulging in her successive appearances in action films. 2 years later, an accident tested the course of her career again. In the movie, the stunt woman Akam jumped off an 18-feet overpass onto a moving truck. The character seemed to be doing well when she fell, but in the actual filming, Yeoh sustained a fatal back injury. For someone who portrays characters who are on the front line against the violent sallies of the antagonist and does her stunts, the injury could end her career. Many people were rooting for her recovery and eventual comeback, and one of them was Quentin Tarantino, an avid fan of Michelle Yeoh, whom she can recall breaking down his favorite action performance of hers in a Police Story film series with so much enthusiasm. Others would have chosen another path because of injury-induced trauma, which is also an extremely valid and right decision. But Yeoh decided to come back, and in 10 years, she became one of the leading figures of the action genre of Hong Kong cinema, and eventually got the attention of more Hollywood filmmakers for her acting prowess. In 1997, she starred opposite Pierce Brosnan in the film Tomorrow Never Paradise as Wileen and was undoubtedly one of the best Bond girls of all time. It looks like things are going perfectly well for Yeoh's career with her subsequent international exposure this time as Michelle Yeoh, and she must be drowning with role offers. But she cannot envision herself playing purely stereotypical parts. She went on a hiatus for almost 2 years, and in the year 2000 she was seen again in Ang Lee's Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon. The movie gained critical acclaim and awards in categories such as film direction, production design, cinematography, scene choreography, and many more. It's a big win for Asian filmmakers and films to be recognized by huge awarding bodies, but not much has changed for the actors. Since it was a period piece, the audience couldn't relate to it. It's a beautiful movie. It's like watching poetry, but it didn't change things for us. Were we not participating? Are we invisible? It's very interesting, and it's happened again and again. But it did not dim her light. She continued to prosper in her own right and has shown commitment in all of her projects, both in Hong Kong cinema and Hollywood. All of her performances, regardless of the film's critical and box office potential, were nothing short of stellar. Little did she know that over the past 4 decades of perseverance in playing every role with a great degree of dedication, not only established her credibility, it molded her to become the perfect Evelyn Quan, a composite character that demands versatility from an actor. There are so many Evelyns in different universes. In a certain universe alone, she has to deal with a myriad of problems that gradually crush her inside and outside eventually. Evelyn never thought that a normal submission of their business taxes would change the course of her life. Suddenly, her husband speaks rubbish about balance, chaos, and multiverse. She was left confused, a reaction that is completely normal when everyone is acting weird, including her. From calculating expenses to attending to all sorts of paperwork, she suddenly witnessed her meek husband beat up the guards with his fanny pack and found herself exchanging kicks and blows with the sinister verse jumpers and Joe Butopaki. A different kind of foe. It became an atypical human versus human melee. You would expect that trying to restore the balance between the multiple universes and a destructive nihilist would put her in a position where she has to confront her precarious relationship with her daughter, her marriage that's falling apart, and her frustrating relationship with his father, her shortcomings and the choices that she made in life. Wayman and Joy never had a full apprehension of her love, and she always seemed heedless to their pain. When she's awake, their laundromat looks like the only thing that would occupy her mind. How to save their business? What will my father think about the life I built? Despite her efforts, everything does not translate to the success that she is aiming for, thus perceiving herself as a disappointment personified. Evelyn Quan is constantly fighting and has always been restless before the reverse jumpers. She always has to beat this unseen force that could potentially pull her down to the lowest point and keep herself together when it seems like nothing in her life was rightly done. As the bodysuit and makeup were removed, Evelyn would disappear, but the fighting never ends. Yeoh has to grapple with ageism and the lack of abundance of good roles for Asian American actors. More than getting accolades, actors always dreamt of getting their hands on roles that would allow them to explore a new human psyche through the characters given to them. From an outsider's perspective, one might think Yeoh already achieved so much in her career, but we will never know the pinnacle one would like to reach. Even having a body of work that showcased her immense talent, the actor is not an exception to such hurdles. Despite the uncertainty of an acting career and the fatal injuries that both physically and mentally took a toll on her, she always comes back and keeps giving the audience a great performance. Eventually, her efforts paved the way for women in a then male-dominated action genre and beat those limitations that could have boxed her and managed to create variations in her oeuvre.
For all the little boys and girls who look like me watching tonight, this is a beacon of hope and possibilities. This is proof that dreams dream big and dreams do come true. And ladies, don't let anybody tell you you are ever past your prime. Never give up.